Okay, so welcome everybody. I'm Kathleen, and tonight we are going to talk about free groups and why they're important, and then our strategies for using them, and then you can, of course, make them your own and do whatever you like with them from there. But first, I just wanted to share. I'm going to share my screen with you, and I just wanted to talk with you guys about this concept because I did not come from any sales or marketing background myself, so I found this idea very helpful to have in my brain as to why free groups are so important. So there's actually a strategy, a funnel, a marketing funnel, and there's lots of different versions of it, and I'm sure there are some that are way more complex than this one, but this is kind of the basic idea of it. How we get people to eventually buy products from us is that they kind of go through this process, which is we attract them in some way. We drive them to our Facebook page, or if you are using blogs or Instagram or whatever, somehow you get them to know that you exist. You create some kind of awareness for them. And then you start building up relationships with them and building trust and all that kind of stuff with them. And then eventually you'll convert them and close them, and then they'll be happy, and then they'll send other people our way, and then we kind of start this process over again. But the thing for most of us in this business, because I think most of us in our coaching team aren't marketing, they don't come from marketing backgrounds, is that we kind of jump right in. We kind of forget the first phases of this funnel system, and we try and go right to converting people without really building relationships, which in the beginning it's kind of easy to do. I don't want to say easy, but it's easier to do when you still have what people call the warm market, which is friends and family and people that already trust you, have already know you. You don't have to attract them to you in some way. But when you get further along, of course, you want to move into what they call the cold market, which is people that you don't know. But then sometimes we just skip right past this whole phase of getting people to know and trust us and build a relationship with them, and we go right towards asking them if they want to buy something. And then most of the time that doesn't really work. It's not a very good strategy because it really does need to kind of go through this funnel. So having said that, how can we create value? How can we build relationships? How can we create this culture that we have some idea of what we're talking about and people can trust us and value what we say? One idea is to create these free groups that we have. So now I'm going to switch back over here to Facebook. So we create these Facebook pages, and I think most of you are familiar with Facebook groups at this point, but I'm going to walk you through setting up a group tonight just so that you can kind of understand from square one how these free groups work. So for somebody like me that has a like page, often what I'll do, and you don't have to have a like page to do this, of course, but often what I'll do is create some kind of ad, and that's a whole other night that we'll do that. But so you could create an ad, or you could post something directly on your personal page, or you can do this in Talking With, but however you're getting people. And we've talked before about even just in the beginning, if this is your very first try at a free group, even in the beginning, just asking people to come kind of that kind of as a favor to you, because you want them to give you, and we mean this, you want them to give you feedback about the group, and if they would find, and you want to be able to have somebody in the group that you can trust, be honest, and all that kind of stuff. And so that's what I did the first time we ran a free group, was just I really invited my friends and I said, I need some honest feedback about this group. Can you just let me know what you like about it, what you didn't like about it, whatever. And then from there, we kind of have evolved our free clean eating group over time. It started out as a 10-day group. We did a 7-day group. Now 5 seems like a good number, 5-day, week-long group, and whatever. So you can attract people any way you like. If you want to eventually get into kind of this more complicated creating ads on Facebook or whatever, but for now I think it's important just to, however you get people in, asking friends and family members to start would be great, or any potential prospects. But the bottom line is you're building trust and relationships with people, so that eventually someday down the line they'll have this relationship built, so that when you want to go in and offer them something more, they'll already know and trust you and value the relationship that you have worked hard to build. So basically how you create this group is you go on your left-hand side. Now these are all the groups on the left-hand side here that I have some relationship with. I either am hosting them, or I have challengers in them, or I'm a challenger in, or whatever. And don't get overwhelmed. I have a lot of groups that I'm trying to keep track of. But anyway, how you create them is you go to this groups on the left-hand side here, and you can click on that, and you can click on this create group here. So I'm just going to create a group with you right now. So we'll call this free clean eating group, and you can call it anything you want. Oops, I can't spell. Clean eating group. And then you have to add at least one person to the group to make it a group. So if you're wanting to set this up and you don't want other people to see it right away because you want to get it all set, I mean, the idea is really to have, when people join in, it's kind of like to have the party started. So think of it like you invited people over to your house. You kind of want to have everything kind of in place before you invite people in. It just helps, helps them kind of get the mood. So anyway, so what I've done occasionally is I just put my husband in there first because I know he doesn't care, just because you need to open the group with the person. Or I'll put another coach in there that I also know doesn't care. So I'll put you guys on the call here, Nadine, Deb, and Jim, I don't think I'm friends with you. So I'm going to start with you guys. I think Jim's still on here. Let me try one more time. Nope, that's not the right Jim. Okay, anyway, so you can also right here, see there's different ways to create groups, and you can pick public, which means anybody can see in the group, closed, meaning that people can see the group but they can't see in the group, and secret, meaning people can't find the group even if they looked for it. So we do most of our free groups as closed groups. So we have had people request to join our group that aren't members of the group because they can see the title of the group, and they could see if a person's in the group, but they can't see any of the posts in the group. There are other reasons why you might want to do a public group. Like we have a free fit club that we made a public group. No, I don't know if we did, but anyway, but you might want to have a public group so that anybody searching for it could find your group. And I personally wouldn't recommend that for the free clean eating group, because I think that the information I think you want to have some control over who's in the group, but that's just my opinion. And I certainly, everybody has their own opinions. It's your business. Do whatever you like. Secret groups sometimes make sense if you really have members of the group that don't want, that want to feel even more comfortable, that it's even more private. But generally speaking, we do a mess closed groups, and that's the way we do our challenge groups as well. So we're going to create the group. And then this is just I don't know what value this has, but you get to create some little icon for the group. So you just pick out one of these lovely little pictures for the group. So we're doing a cleaning one, so let's make ours an apple. Although it makes absolutely no difference, you can skip that too if you want. And then it'll direct you to the group's page. So so it actually this process Facebook's made it simpler as we go along, or at least in that it kind of walks you through how to do this as you do it. So so here's where you can upload a photo for the cover photo. So so there's a couple different cover photos that we've done before. You can create these on PicMonkey, or there's some other programs out there. I always use PicMonkey, and then just put a picture in the group. Here's a little, let's do this one, picture of my children and I. And then you have to click the Save Changes. And I think the size of this, correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody knows, I think the size of this is something like 850 pixels by like 250. Does anybody know if that's right? I think that's about right, to get it to fit in there. But you can drag your picture up and down and whatever. And anyway, so that's kind of the picture. I just clicked on it. Put us down here. There we go. Okay, so then once you've uploaded a picture, and you can always change the picture as often as you want. I think there's different, there's not really one strategy for a picture. It could be captivating. It could be like assignments for the group if you want to spell out what to do. Some of the clean eating groups we actually put up top like what clean eating is, what are the principles for clean eating, whatever. Anyway, so then you want to add, kind of walks you through here, just add a description of the group. So I might put something in like, welcome to our free eating group. You might put something about, we're going to spend the next however many days together, something, something short and sweet about the group. And then your group's pretty much set up. Your description hangs out over to the right here usually, and the members are here as well. When you want to go add people to the group, you add them right here where it says add people to group. And you can only add people who you're friends with. So it's very important that you have people that are joining the group friend request you. Now, as you're starting out, these people are probably already your friends, but as you get going, it's going to be important that when you are getting people that you don't know, they have to friend request you to be added to the group. So let's just add somebody here. We'll add Terry to the group. So then she's added. So then you can go, if you want to check out and remember who's in the group or whatever, you can go to click on the 4 members here, and you'll see all the people that are in the group here with us. And then you can see who, if you're running a group with somebody else, you can actually see who invited them. So you can say, okay, that's my person, that's your person, whatever. And if you click on the wheels under any of the people, you can actually make them an administrator. So I'm going to make Deb an administrator here, which means that you have a little bit more privileges about the group than somebody who's not an administrator. So you can add people to the group and you can pin posts to the top of the group. So I'll show you what that means here just for a second. So there, it kind of announces that I made Deb an administrator of the group. And here's our description of the group. Welcome to our Free Clean Eating group. And then here's where that appears in the news feed. So so Deb can now pin a post to the top. So let's say she wants to make this description the pinned post. So you can pin that, and what pinned post means is that it automatically sticks to the top. So you may have noticed in news feeds that once somebody comments on something, that post suddenly goes to the top. It doesn't matter the day that the post was created. So if the post is from last week, if somebody is going through and comments on it or likes it or whatever, then that post will jump to the top. But if you pin a post, then it will automatically stick to the top of the page. Now the catch is that if you're on your phone, the pinned post actually doesn't appear. There's a little, what do I want to call it, like a little bar that says view pinned post. But if you don't know that, you may not press it, so you may not even see the post. So we try and let people in the group know that to look on their phone to actually press the pinned post button so they can see what the pinned post is for the day. Okay, so that's pretty much the news feed. And then what we like to do, we've sort of developed this over time, is we like to welcome everybody to the group individually. First of all, to make them feel welcome, like they're invited to a party, but second, because we want to make sure that they can find the group. So everybody, we have no idea when we're inviting people into groups if they're familiar with groups or not. So we like to make sure that they found the group. So I usually see, you've probably seen this before, like welcome, oh boy, Deb McMullen, tag them in there, and then I'll say something like, please like this post, or whatever. And then when there are multiple people inviting multiple people to the group, it seems to make the group a little cleaner if everybody just does it as a comment to one single post. We had other groups where everybody would create a new post welcoming, and it just got the newsfeed got so jumbled. This seems to be a nice workaround, that if you wanted to welcome the next person, you did it right here on the description of the group as well, like that. Okay, so that's basically setting up the group in a nutshell. Now I want to jump for a second to the templates that we've created that are yours to use and modify and whatever. So we keep our templates in Google Docs, which is basically, let me just turn off the bbongs. So this is google.com, and we basically created this, our templates, so that everybody can view them. So Google Docs are basically like Word or Excel or whatever, but they're on the web instead of on your actual computer hard drive, so that you can share them with other people and you can access them from anywhere. So this is my Google Docs. Okay, so anyway, so there's different file folders, and I have one called Challenge Group Templates. So over the course of time, the coaches on our team have come up with different templates for different things. We have 21-day fix templates, a free clean eating group, a general template, you know, and so on. And all of these are completely accessible to you from our team. And so you're more than welcome to any of the templates. I think this is our most recent 5-day free clean eating group template. So I'm going to click on that for you. So it's basically set up like an Excel program, and you are welcome to use it as is or to change things up or whatever, but it's basically to make it so that nobody has to reinvent the wheel when they're doing these groups. You can certainly modify them if you want or change them or whatever, but you don't have to reinvent this idea. So basically how this particular group has worked for us is, you can see here, before adding your challengers, make sure you add the group description, which we did already, but if you want a different wording for it, or you want to just use the wording, you actually double click on the box, and then you would just highlight and cut and paste. So copy, and then you would paste it into the group. So if you wanted to add that description instead, we'll just edit our description here and we'll paste in the one that's part of the template. So that's pretty much, and then before you would do the group photo, which we already did. And then when you open the group, this is like a welcome message you could copy and paste in there. And then this is the meal plan that we've created, recipes and grocery list, if you're doing it that way. So what you can do, which I want to show you, is in the files section of any group, you can click on the files and then you can create a document. And I copied those recipes and stuff, and I'm just going to paste it right here. And I'm going to make this meal plan, recipes, grocery list, for the challengers. And the nice thing about files is that so they can see that I created this doc here with the meal plan, the recipes and files, and all these are more Google Docs. But anyway, and I'll show you those in a second. But this again will get lost. This post will get lost in the news feed as people comment on it or like or comment on other things. So the nice thing about files is that they can always refer to this files tab and find that document. So then just to take you through these real quick. So what we've done is created more Google Docs for the challengers in the free group, and they can click on these and they can get the meal plan for 5 days, and they can get the recipes for 5 days and the grocery list. And again, these are things that you are welcome to use if it fits for your goal of the group, or if you'd prefer to do something else, by all means, go for it. But these are here for you if you want to use them. The other option that I just want to throw out there, I just did this in the last free cleaning group that I did. I changed these, and you're welcome to do the same. I changed these into PDFs, and I asked people to give me their emails, and I emailed them these instead. And I think that was, I think I'm going to try and do that more often, because I feel like collecting people's emails is very valuable. And truly, some people have trouble opening Google Docs, and maybe they don't have Gmail or whatever. So you can do that as well. And it's easy to save these as PDFs. You just go to download as PDF, and that's how you can convert them. And then again, if you're not aware of PDFs, that just means that they can't write on them, they can't change them. It's kind of frozen the way it is, which is not necessarily a bad thing in this situation. Okay, so let's go back a second here to the template. So then what we did was for this particular group, we kind of have it, let me move this down here, there we go. We kind of have it set up that you could, can I change this format? Wait 1 second, let me just try and get, whoop, wrong one. No, okay, sorry. We kind of made it so that you can see different posts for each day. So, we have it hopefully pretty foolproof. So on Saturday you would open the group and you would post this, if you want to follow our exact template, and you would post this welcome message, you would post these meal plan, recipe, grocery list, and then on Sunday you would follow along with these posts. So generally speaking, it's kind of like a morning post, an afternoon post, and an evening post. And the reason why it's good to have multiple posts each day is because some people maybe don't check their email, or maybe don't check Facebook in the morning or whatever. You might be catching people, if they're not familiar with groups, at different times. They might see different posts at different times, so you kind of want to hit them multiple times. And plus it's a very short group, so posting multiple times a day I think makes some good sense. So anyway, so here's an afternoon post you can do talking about how to get prepared, and then like kind of a we're excited to get started post in the evening. And then here we go with the daily posts. Monday, post 1, post 2, and then post 3 we have done transformation stories, shared our own stories or other people's stories like that. And then Tuesday, post 1, post 2, Wednesday, and so on. And then even though it's kind of over on Friday, there's still a Saturday post kind of inviting them to the next challenge, whatever that might be for you. So that's kind of the nutshell version of how the free clean eating group works. Now, what we found on this particular group was that it was really helpful to do kind of the format we ended up sticking with was in the morning posting some kind of challenge to the group. So this particular challenge was to post a picture of what you're eating that day. And hopefully they were eating something and posting something healthy from the meal plan or otherwise. And then we were offering them a prize, and we found we got lots more participation when we were offering them something. So that's what we were doing in the mornings for this free group, and then in the midday was the actual tip that we were giving them, which in this case was how to read food labels. And then in the evening was when we would post like our transformation story or why we found it so helpful or whatever. And people seem to really respond to personal stories of why this is working. And then on Tuesday, the challenge was something fitness related, and the prize was a DVD from one of the free DVDs that came along with our workouts or whatever. And then we talked about making a plan and why that was so important. And so on. So you can kind of read through. But the bottom line of free groups is you want to, again, give them some kind of value, give them some reason to trust you and build a relationship with you, and then kind of introduce them to the idea of the other things that have to do with Beachbody. So Shakeology is introduced in there, and why we love it. And then some of the workout programs are kind of introduced in there. And then the other tip I would say is that all the while it's so important to be individually in touch with the people you invite to the group. So private messaging them or emailing them simple things like, did you find the recipes? Were you able to get started? Were you going to go all in and try all of them, or were you just going to pick out a few? And what's your favorite? And what do you like? And what's helpful about the group, or whatever? Just engaging with them and building relationships with them through private messages, I think is the real key to the free groups. Because not everybody, as we know, not everybody likes to actually post things or likes to comment on things. People are unsure of Facebook, and for good reason. Maybe they just don't want to put it out there, but in private messages they might feel much more comfortable. And then at the end of the group, this is where it kind of, you know, the you know, what the fortune is in the follow-up or whatever. The end of the group is where I've done it two ways personally, like where I actually invite them to a challenge group that's coming up. And it's a good time to kind of strike while the iron's hot if they've had a good experience in the group, which we really hope that they have. And that's the goal of the group. And I've done that as a post, and I've also done that in private messages. And I can't say for sure one way or the other works better, but you know, whatever maybe feels right with the group. But either way, I keep all the people that are part of the free group on a special list because I feel like those are people that are really leads for us, and people that have shown an interest in a free group are definitely potentials to keep in touch with for the next level, which would be buying a product or a program or whatever. So let's see. Let's go back to our Facebook here. And what kind of questions do you have? Is there anything that, let me just say one more thing. This little handy dandy thing here is really helpful to search this group. So you can actually go through, if you get a large number of people in a group, for example, and you're thinking to yourself, have I heard from Sally in this group? Has she checked in at all, or has she commented on anything or whatever? Actually, you can't see if they've checked in. You can see if they've made any kind of comment or like on anything. You can actually type their name in here. So I'm going to type in Nadine and see, did she post anything? Did she like anything? Oh, she didn't. Okay, then I definitely want to check in with her and make sure she found the group and make sure she's seeing the post, and then ask her if there's anything that I can do to be helpful or whatever. I can search for myself and then, like, did I do anything? Oh yeah, I posted that. I did, you know what I mean? What have I, and it kind of goes through and lists the things where my name would appear. So that, I think this is a really great tool to make sure you're checking in with your people that you've put in a group, not just the free groups, but any groups you can do that. So that's pretty much groups in a nutshell. And then I guess I just want to say really quickly, the one other thing that I find very, very helpful as far as keeping track of groups is when you've created a group, you can go back here to the groups thing. So this is the group I just created. I want to add that to my favorites. And then that way, when I go to do my check-ins, because I try and check into my groups in the morning, in the evening, or whatever, then it'll be it'll stay put on this left-hand side so that I can remember, oh, that's right, I got to check into that group today, and I don't have to go hunting for it. So it always goes to the bottom of your favorites, and I know I have a ton of favorites, but anyway, you can rearrange it by hovering over and clicking that, and then you can just drag it to wherever you want to be. So for me, like if this is a super important group, I might put it way here up here at the very top or whatever. It's really up to you. Of course, there's no right or wrong way to do that. But I tend to try and put my groups in the order that I created them. That's just my own preference about that, but that makes no difference how you do that, of course. Okay, so what kind of questions do you guys have, or how can I be helpful?
Okay, Kathleen, I spoke with you earlier today, and I have 3 people. What's that?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes. 3 people.
Okay. I have 3 people for the 5-day meeting for next week, and I have one of them does not have Facebook.
Okay.
And I emailed her back and asked her if she would be interested in creating just a temporary, so that, you know, she could access the information, and I haven't heard back from her yet.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's not, it's not a tragedy. I think if she's willing to create like a temporary page, a temporary profile, I think that's probably the easiest way to do it. But if not, you can always email her what you're posting. You know what I mean? So if you're posting, you can email her the recipes and meal plan and so on. And you can even email her if you copy and paste the post from our template, for example, you can always just copy and paste them right into an email and send them on to her. But it probably would be easiest on you, the coach, if she would create a profile.
Right. Okay. And you would help her do that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, I've had a couple
Okay.
of people do that to just join challenge groups. And like we were talking, like they don't have to put anything on there at all. They can create an alias. They don't have to put any picture of themselves or whatever, and it's totally fine.
Okay. Well, I hope I'll hear back from her by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. On this the rest on the week on the 5-day cleaning, it looked like they would have Shakeology is listed there, but they don't have Shakeology, right?
That's a good point. Yeah, we just have it listed as an introduction to Shakeology. They don't have to have it, but they just get to hear about it. So it's kind of in the context of superfoods is the way we kind of introduce it. So like we talk on the first day about, what kind of, essentially what kind of crap we put in our bodies. And then we talk about like later in the week, what are some great things to put in our bodies, superfoods being on the top of the list. And then what's a great way to get superfoods is through Shakeology. So that's kind of how we introduce it. And then we also have the way it's set up as is that prizes for towards the end of the week are samples of Shakeology. But yeah, so they definitely, at least in this format, they don't have to have bought anything at all. There are other people and other groups that do it that way, that people have to invest some money in like a free, not a free, but in one of those sampler packs. I think they're $20 for Shakeology, but that's not the way this particular group is designed.
Oh, okay, great.
What else? Are there other questions out there?
I have one. How do you go about deciding when to have one? I mean, do y'all get together and decide y'all want to do this together? As I noticed in several of the challenges that I've been in, that y'all co-facilitate a lot of these things. How do y'all go about deciding, which one to do, when, and all that?
That is a great question. And, we as a team have kind of evolved about that process. So in the beginning, we were kind of, I feel like, and any of you other veteran coaches, it's always so funny to say that because I think I've been around the longest and I've been here 18 months, which is not really that long. But anyway, I can say that in the beginning, we just kind of were throwing it in there willy-nilly. Willy-nilly is a little too loose of a word, but anyway, but we just kind of didn't have a plan. But now we kind of try and structure the month so that the free group usually goes at the beginning of the month, because it sets up some leads for the potential challenge groups, which happen a little later in the month. And then, that kind of sets up the potential leads for a coaching apprenticeship group, which happens at the end of the month. So it's kind of like this, this is what we started talking about, having a strategy for how to go about your social media campaign. And we're going to talk more about this in the Coach Basics University, because it really, that one person I've listened to recently, it really is a big problem that I think I had when I started out, like not having a real strategy to it. So anyway, so the bottom line is we do try and have some kind of strategy to it, and we do talk to each other about it, because we like to try and, it kind of stinks to have a group and have like 2 or 3 people in it, but when we combine up and we have, a few coaches who have a few people, then now we've got a group, you know what I mean? So, so we do try and think that through, and we certainly would welcome anybody who wants to kind of be in that process of when to have them and what's coming up. In fact, we're going to talk a little bit tonight about how to go through the rest of the year with some of the other Diamond coaches on the team, because we want to have some kind of strategy in place that everybody can kind of look to. That's a good question. What else? Does anybody else have questions? All right, I'm going to stop screen sharing with you for now, because I didn't even realize how many people were on here. Hello, lovely faces. So anyway, does anybody have questions about that? And or any of the free group ideas? No, okay. I'm gonna stop recording for now.